Are you ready to be free of physical and emotional pain? Have you done many known things to help yourself, and for whatever reason, you remain stuck? Do you intuitively know that some of your issues are at the higher level, the soul level, and deal with the state of your soul? If so, then today's show is for you. Our guests will discuss this work, the soul connection, and show you how this modality can get at and clear the higher level root causes for your stuckness. Get your pen and pad ready. You're going to take a lot of notes. Buckle up. We're getting ready to take a ride in the quantum field and beyond. Buckle up. I wouldn't want you to go flying off to another dimension, or maybe that's exactly what you need. Welcome to the People and Pets Show. Welcome to the People and Pets Show. I'm so honored and grateful to have with us today our guest, Brian Kurtz. Brian, how are you today?
I'm great, Mark. Thanks for having me in.
Yeah, I'm very grateful to have you. A mutual friend of us introduced us about a month and a half ago, and we realized, I want Brian on the People and Pets Show, so I'm really grateful that he's here with us today.
Thanks. Great to be here.
Yeah, and thank you all those that are either listening live or on the replay. There are so many things you can be doing with your time right now, and I'm very grateful that you've chosen to spend some of it with us today. Like I said, you're going to get a lot of value out of today's conversation, and please let us know where you're viewing from the show in the world. Where are you? So if you can type in the comment box where you're seeing this show from. And also, as we go along with the conversation, please type in any questions you have for Brian. So let me just see. I'm going to see. Just going to scroll down for a minute. Okay, we have Michelle Whitfield in the room. Margarita Jimenez de Tomas. Janelle Cameron, thank you for being here. And Jamie McDonald, thank you all for being here. So you're probably asking, well, who is Mark Hernandez? So I'm first the owner and founder of People and Pets Energetics. I'm a holistic practitioner that helps people, animals, and their spaces when they've hit the wall with health and well-being issues. Basically, I have intuitive gifts and extensive training to read the subtle energy fields of people, animals, and spaces, and then identify and release non-beneficial energies that are locking into place your stuff. For people, the most common reason people come and see me, they're in some level of pain, be it physical, mental, spiritual. And this pain is basically disrupting their everyday life, really impinging. If they're coming to see me, often that pain level is like at least an 8 of 10, 10 being the highest level of pain. And for your pets, I deal with a lot of changes in behavior. You know, that peeing and pooing in the household, separation anxiety, excessive barking, and much more. So I use different energy medicine tools and systems such as the body code, the emotion code, and advanced ash work. And also, especially over the last 3 months, I've been doing more emphasis on the multidimensional healing for both people, animals, and spaces. So that is, I'll check your current timeline and also your other timelines, such as your past lives, your parallel lives, and even your future lives. I know that sounds crazy, but what I'm seeing is often people's stuff is originating in another timeline and they're being impacted in the present. So I'm finding that the work I'm doing is even more complete when I check your different timelines. So I offer consultations primarily remotely by phone or video technology, and I'm offer private one-on-one sessions and also more group work. So with those words, let me check in. I'm going to check the comment box in a minute. I also see we have Nancy Louise here today. Thank you, Nancy, for being here. So let me introduce today's guest, Brian Kurtz. Brian is a teacher and light worker who calls on spirit's power and love to heal physical, psychological, and emotional issues. His divinely inspired method includes chakra and life history, energetic residue clearing, client-specific healing, and a divinely channeled counseling session. So his work is very, very comprehensive. You're going to find it fascinating. Brian also works with children and pets and clears homes and workspaces as required. His Soul Connection workshop series teaches everyone to connect in that namaste place and achieve more joy, happiness, and peace. So Brian, welcome to the show.
You bet. Thank you.
Yeah, great. Let me just give me 1 second here. All right. So let's get, so Brian, wait, before we go on our conversation, I'd like to take a moment to see if there are any comments. Let's see again. Let me see. Some likes, loves. Okay. So hold on. Let me comments. Let me see who's, okay. Okay, comments.
More people coming in.
Oh, okay, yeah. So we have Jake Borchardt. Excuse me, is it showing today? Okay, show.
Hey, Jake.
Yeah. Okay, I'm not sure why it's not showing today. Nancy Louise, glad to be here. Ayla Francisco, hello from Idaho. Okay, they're not showing on the screen today. I'm sorry. Oh, Maureen Lamb Christensen, good morning. Happy to be here from Pennsylvania. And also Michelle Whitfield, hello, beautiful beings, shared out with so much love. Well, thank y'all all for being here. So, Brian, tell us a little bit more about yourself and your journey to the work you're doing today as a soul connection. Yeah. How did it all get started?
So I'll go back to the beginning. I'll try and keep it somewhat brief. In June of 1984, I was at a summer camp in Mississippi working on my graduate internship in recreation administration. And I brought a few books around psychic work, some stuff by Edgar Casey. A lady named Jane Roberts wrote a book called Seth Speaks and the Seth Material. It was a channeled work. And I'm starting to read all of this stuff. I didn't really know much about it.
Yeah.
But about 2 days into being there, I got what I call a divine download, where I was literally shown, if you do this thing, people's pain will go away. I mentioned it to the guy I was sharing a cabin with, and he said, well, I got a headache. Let's see if it works. And it did. His headache went away. That night, the guy came in, and we told him about it. And he says, well, I got a migraine. Let's see if it works. And it got rid of his migraine.
Wow.
And that summer, I worked on about 200 different people, and all but 2 had a really positive result, one of which was laughing too hard to take it seriously because it was just out of her realm. And the other one was, frankly, really, really drunk, having come in from a night off, and was basically asking me to bail him out. Everybody else had a positive result. So for the last 35 years, I've continued to be shown what it is that people need in the moment to get past whatever it is they've gotten. And it's evolved tremendously over the last 35 years. And back in about 2010, November of 2010, I dedicated my life to this. I'd worked in the recreation field, worked in the consumer electronics field, nationally, globally, enjoyed that. But when the economy shifted back in 08, 09, I decided I would just dedicate my life to this, and have. And since then, I'm batting 1,000 on prostate cancer, for example. All but one person is free of their rheumatoid arthritis symptoms. I work on knees, backs, necks. But what's interesting about all of it is that I'm very clear on the fact that we are all, like everyone, no exceptions, is a divine spirit being occupying physical space. And to be able to tap into that, which is beyond time and space, allows us to access that part of us, which literally sources our physical presence. And I'm very clear that any and all physical ailments are the result of some spiritual, emotional cause. Like you said in the beginning of the broadcast, you're able to go to past life, future life. For some folks, that's kind of strange, but when you really get down to it, if this is beyond time and space, there is no past life, future life. It's all simultaneous life in however many directions from a center point that we are currently occupying. And anything we can do to go in linear time forward or backward, but just access that stuff that's actually happening simultaneously, the more centered in our root being, our root cause we can be. So when I'm doing chakra clearing, I'm going over a person's entire lifelong timeline in linear time but I will occasionally see stuff at what I'll call year 0, which is stuff that they came in with.
Oh, okay.
And so I clear that, and everything forward of that is made a lot more easy. It's about being in the flow, and anything we have that's resisting that flow, any bump in the road, so to speak, needs to get smoothed out so that we can have more flow in our lives in whatever area. It could be romantic relationship or finances or whatever it is that someone's seeking. To be able to clear the junk that's in the way allows us to just be in the flow. It's the big thing is it's not about getting something you don't have. It's about removing what you've been carrying that's in the way to free you up. It's like dropping off ballast in a hot air balloon. You lose some weight, the balloon rises. So the more of the lower vibrational mess we can get rid of, the more free we are to more fully be.
Yeah, maybe another metaphor too, exactly extending what you said, is kind of like the sun is always shining, but sometimes there are clouds and other things blocking the sunshine, right?
It's like peeling away the layers of the sunglasses until you can see everything more clearly and be here more clearly. Yeah,
being present, absolutely. Cool. So let's talk about a little bit the Soul Connection workshop.
Okay. Well, this is one of my favorite things in the world to do and to bring. After having done this for so many years, I realized around the beginning of 2013 that the way I do what I do is formulaic. There are literally steps that I'm able to do to work on whatever ailment someone may have. And I realized because it's a formulaic thing, it could be teachable. So I spent all of 2013 downloading hundreds of pages of material, which has now become my level 1 healers class. For people who even have no experience, we can still teach someone how to do this, how to be the healer and allow this work to happen. So the healers class has 4 parts. The first part is, how does this work? What's really going on when someone has rheumatoid arthritis for 20 years and then 2 hours later they don't? Or someone's got prostate cancer and then 2 hours later they don't. Someone's had knee trouble for a decade and 2 hours later they don't. So how is that possible? The second piece of the class is generating the sacred space in which all healing happens. And in that sacred space is where we walk through our life, in the sacred space that we're co-creating with our Creator and accessing that space. The third piece is doing chakra work. The fourth piece is doing body work, which is really just a more specific version of doing chakra work. Well, when I completed the course, developing it all, I realized the second piece, the generating the sacred space piece, could be its own thing. So I was doing some men's work with a group called Mankind Project. They've got 65,000 members in 40 countries around the world. And I brought it to my local Mankind Project group and everybody got it. So we then went to a regional meeting of Mankind Project where there were guys from all over the Texas, Oklahoma, Arkansas, Louisiana region. And I met a bunch of guys there and told them I had just done this workshop and it generated this result. They said, well, bring it to our city. And so I went to New Orleans and Houston and Dallas and then back to Houston and back to Dallas. And one of the guys in the second Dallas meeting was on the committee to bring it to the USA Gathering of Elders of Mankind Project. And I brought that in September of 2014 to them. And from there, it's just grown. I've probably delivered the workshop now to about 2,000 people.
Wow.
And it's evolved into a couples version, like if someone's in relationship, a family version for parents and kids, a student teacher version for schools, a corporate version for building client relationship and client retention. And then one just for anybody who wants to do it and connect in that namaste space. And I can tell you this about the workshop. It involves a lot of direct eye contact, but it also involves teaching people how to access this space and drop off what our brain may be generating that prevents us from being really present when we make eye contact with another human being. And one guy who did the workshop, who was somewhere in the Asperger's range of the autism spectrum, and he had been unable to make eye contact for more than a few seconds with anybody. And when he realized what this entailed, he freaked. And I said, okay, so notice that. Notice that your brain is generating all of this freak out stuff. And that's generating chemicals in your brain, which then hit your body, which creates all of this discomfort. If you can just let go of the panic thought, there won't be that brain chemistry generating the fear chemical, which your body then reacts to. Just breathe. And I had him literally breathe a few times and notice his inhales and his exhales, and breathe and release. And he settled in and made eye contact with his partner for an hour and 5 minutes.
Wow.
So many quantum orders of magnitude beyond anything he'd ever experienced. His whole life changed.
Absolutely.
And in the couples version, I've had one couple who ended their marriage of 25 years having done the workshop, but they did so in this beautiful, clean, connected space. It was totally fine for them to realize, okay, our time is done here as a couple, and they can still be dear friends and co-parent their daughter who was graduating from high school at that point. But that's the space that's generated, is that there's such a reality, such a connection beyond our preferences and expectations, that we're able to just be more freely in that namaste. The light in me is able to see the light in you, but we have to access the light in ourselves to be with the light in others.
Yeah, absolutely. Just, I mean, what I love about your work, first of all, you're empowering people to be their own self-healers. So I love that about
be as human as you can be.
Yeah, and to be more of who they were meant to be. And also, I love it also that you're taking this work beyond the holistic fairs, the spiritually oriented community, to show others how its relevance and how it can be a huge benefit. So I love all those.
I mean, let's face it, if we're divine spirit beings, our job, our only real job, is to touch that place in ourselves. I mean, Wayne Dyer called it our bucket of the ocean.
Yeah.
Dr. David Hawkins, I think, called it our eachness in the allness.
Yeah.
Each of us is a valid drop of the river, so to speak. And we really can't know the beginning or end of the river, but we can, as we get to know other drops near us in the river, we can come to know more fully the nature of the river. And that is what we are. That is literally what we are. So to access that and come to know that and touch that and ground ourselves in that allows us to be more in a place of awareness. I mean, nothing exists until there's an awareness of it.
Yeah.
And in the awareness of our own souls, we're able to touch that divinity in everyone, everything. You work with animals, you work with pets, you work in you can work with someone's living space. There is no other. There's only all. So the extent to which we can touch the all enables us to connect more deeply with everyone and with every moment of our lives, every person, place, thing, or situation.
Great. Let me check the comments section.
You bet.
Let me see. Let's see.
Man, we got people piling in.
Yeah. Let's see. Okay. Maybe scroll up. Okay. Let's see. Okay. Marie Lamb Christensen. Yes. Soul Connection Workshop. I believe he said yes.
That's correct.
Absolutely.
So Maureen, it's a 2.5 hour workshop that I'll do either in person or remotely via Zoom call. And it's a wonderful process. I walk people through something I call the conversation. And the conversation is basically noticing the thoughts your brain is generating. Because when you notice the thoughts your brain is generating, that part of you that's being the noticer of the thoughts your brain is generating is that place where, regardless of what your brain's doing, there's a stillness that we can occupy where we are being the noticer of that, which gets us to the connection place. So I teach people how to do that. Then we actually pair up and connect deeply in a dyad or triad and then work through it. And I've done this in the room as many as 105 people. And the energy that becomes available in that space is palpable. Like you can literally move your hands back and forth and feel like foam rubber in between everybody. It's literally palpable. It's a wonderful thing.
Yeah, great. Let's see. Jake Borchardt says, excellent articulation. Very well said. Yeah. Let's see. All right. Let's see. Kat Lubin, Brian, is that coming from a program you're running? I think you've answered that, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's ongoing. Every month locally here in Austin, Texas, I do a couples workshop, individuals workshop, and family workshop in a group situation. And I make it available to anybody who wants to do it wherever they are via Zoom call. And I've done Zoom call workshops all over the country. Pretty effortless, actually.
Cool. Yeah, let's see. We have Brian Zen. I don't know if you by chance know him. It says, "You're all crown, Brian." I'm not sure. He also has another comment, "Always doubt my girl." So, I'm not sure what that refers to. But Brian, you want to write back in? Okay, let's go to Shelley LaChance. I'm learning to now act on that little nudge I'm getting. It's hard to stop doubting myself.
Yeah, good. So here's what you can do with that doubt, okay? Any doubt is by definition a comparison between this is where I'd like to be and this is where I'd prefer to be, or this is what I think is and this is what I would prefer instead. I have certainty, I have doubt. There's a distance between those. What there is to notice is that there's a duality here between what I think is and what I think I would prefer. What there is to do is to notice what's underneath that thing you prefer. Why do you prefer that? Well, I doubt. Well, doubt feels uncomfortable. I prefer not to doubt. Why would you prefer not to doubt? Because you would rather have certainty. Well, how do you access the certainty? You access the certainty not by checking in here, but by checking in here. People are now knowing, science is now proving that the heart and the stomach are actually their own neural network, which has no need for separation, categorization, analysis. I mean, what a thought in the brain is a combination of brain cells flashing together, and another thought is another combination of brain cells flashing together, and your brain needs that comparison and contrast between this thought and that thought to sort, analyze, categorize, and store the information in this supercomputer that the brain is. This neural network needs no such separation. This simply knows like capital K knowing. Like if I said, Mark, who do you love? What would your answer be?
Well, I guess first of all, you got to love yourself. That's a starting point. Yeah.
So that's a great example. So you know that you love yourself beyond the reasons that your brain would generate to justify your lovability.
Yeah.
So the doubt comes from the questioning here, which is seeking a comparison and contrast, which by definition is duality consciousness and not the unity simply isness that this knows. This is capital K knowing, this is little k knowing. So that doubt that you can have, back to your caller, the doubt, you can have your doubt. Let your brain generate whatever doubt it wants. You are not your brain. You are the soul sourcing the body that has a brain in it, generating the thought about the doubt.
Yeah.
So, but the crazy counterintuitive part of it is in the noticing of that doubt, you're accessing the stillness where the doubt is not. So you're not only separating yourself from this by being here, but you're grounding yourself more deeply in the stillness place that can notice that and let it do whatever it wants to do. And it's fine. Have your doubt, but don't let your doubt have you. That's what that's all about.
Right. Great. Thank you. Let's go to Christy Warnick. She just says she's sharing this because she's really finding it very valuable. Yeah. Christy's a very accomplished energy healer in her own right. So
wonderful.
Thank you, Christy, for being with us. Let's see. All right. Let's go back. You brought up the issue of men's groups, the work you've done. Like I said, I was very fascinated. When we first had our conversation, you said you've had a very high success rate with men with prostate cancer, but also working more with men. I'm really fascinated with this because in general, at least in my practice, probably about 92% of my clients are women. And I've been seeking—
because about probably 70% of my clients are women.
Okay.
The work, it's really strange with men because we're sort of in that, oh, I don't need that, right? The whole macho thing or the independent, I can provide, I've got it handled. But the fact is, men are human. And so we all have our stuff. We've all had wounds that we're trying to deal with and process through. Mankind Project is this wonderful international men's organization that gets deeply into the wounds that someone has. It's a combination of Native American Lakota ritual and Jungian archetypal work. So, and it's bioenergetic work. So in Mankind Project, we identify an area of our life that's a challenge, and then we get underneath what has that be the challenge that it is and work through it. So it's inherently it's an organization of men who are willing to do work,
Yeah.
as opposed to avoid the work.
Yeah.
And they're out to change the world one man at a time. Because let's face it, our half of the species generates most of the problems in the world.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know, wars would not happen started by women. It's just not going to happen. You know,
Mm-hmm.
Political debate, especially some of the stuff that's making the news right now.
Yeah.
If women were running the country, things would be a lot more calm.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So men's work is fun. I love doing work with the men who are ready to do the work, because when men get ready to do the work, they're ready to do the work. Men are very purpose oriented. So we're going to do the work, you know?
Yeah.
And so when men step up, they're really ready to get busy doing it. And they're much more open at that point to hear what there is to say and to discuss, and not so much what there is to do, but who there is to be, and the doing that follows.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, working with prostate cancer, it's a big deal, because that's a pretty scary thing for men, you know?
Absolutely.
And there's generally two general realms of prostate cancer. There's the kind that'll take you quickly, and the kind that you can have for 30 years before it finally takes its toll. It doesn't matter to me which one it is.
Yeah.
But let's face it, when you're doing healing energy work successfully, there is no invasion of body parts. There's no biopsy required. And I worked with one guy the other day, and his prostate had skyrocketed. It kind of steadily gone from about whatever lower number to about 4.5, if you know that number.
Yeah.
Or what the PSA number. Then it went from 4.5 to 6.5 in about 6 months.
Whoa.
So he was pretty scared. We worked together, and in one session, one 90-minute session, his prostate number dropped from 6.5 to 0.4.
Whoa.
That's like an 18-year-old's prostate.
Wow.
And he's 83, or maybe he's 84 now.
Cool.
But yeah, so I was shown, and that's the weird thing about doing the work I do, is I ask to be shown. I go into a zone, and what I see there happens. Yeah. I'm shown the solution. I see the solution, and it happens. This is also the key to anyone with any ailment: is don't focus on the concern. Focus on the solution. See and feel the solution, and the concern kind of vanishes in that space.
And the solution,
focus on the solution.
And the solution is going to be different for each person. Is that correct?
Exactly. It is how it is. Because again, all of this stuff has social, emotional, spiritual cause. Yeah. So if we can get down to the root of what has the dis-ease exist, we can get down to work on it and clear it. Yeah, absolutely. Let me go back to the comments box. Let's see, we've got 26 now. Let's see. Shelly LeChance says, yes, I'm a Reiki practitioner. And as we know, being a normal person, there has to be an answer for things. I'm learning that there are some things that don't have answers. Just roll with it. Thanks, guys. This is very helpful. Absolutely, Shelly. Yeah, I mean, sometimes there is no specific answer, but if I'm shown energetic stuff that needs to be cleared, when I do my chakra clearing and harmonizing, I may not actually see what event happened. I just see this cloudy, junky, energetic tar residue thing that I'm able to wash away, and it's gone. And with that gone, whatever was being impeded is able to flow again. Yeah, absolutely. Going back to Brian Zen one more time. He says yin and yang. Yep. Okay. All right, cool. Let's see. All right. So it's getting ready to wrap up. Let me, is there any other comment you'd like to tell the viewers about your work or anything? And then, yeah, I mean, what concerns? If anyone has a concern in their life, anything that's going on, I'm not here to predict future or anything. Right. If someone has a concern going on with them physically, emotionally, spiritually, let's get to it. Let's get busy. If there's anything that we can do to support you, feel free to ask, and this is the place. Yeah, that's great. We're here. Yeah. So what's the best way to reach you, Brian? Website, social media? How can people best reach you? There is a Healed by Spirit, HEALEDBY Spirit website, healedbyspirit.com. But frankly, call me. I don't mind giving out my phone number, 512 in Austin, 512-922-6043.
Okay.
512-922-6043. You can call, you can text. I much prefer being in real contact with someone. And I love doing Zoom calls. I love this format because we can just be with each other. We can see each other. It's a little easier, I think, to feel into each other when we can actually be present with each other. So I love doing that. I mean, you can send me an email, but if we're doing emails, it's kind of double unilateral. We're not really with each other in the moment.
Yeah.
I much prefer just give me a call, drop me a text message. Hey, it's such and such. I'm over here in whatever part of the world, and we'll schedule a time to call. And I do a lot of Facebook Messenger calling, video calls, phone calls, whatever needs to happen to really bring us together. I'll do email. You can read about all this stuff on my website.
Yeah.
But really, I just like being with people. I'd much prefer to be in actual contact.
Absolutely. Well, great. A few last comments. Kathy Homeyer. Thank you, Kathy, for being here. Shared.
Thanks, Kathy.
Yeah, does great work with nutritional energetics and much more.
Awesome.
And Nancy Louise, got some crazy stuff going on in my stomach. So,
so
connection. Yeah, go ahead.
So let's touch about the stuff in your stomach. So where the stomach is, or what the stomach is that part of your body that begins to process and break down your food so that your body can then take the nutrients of that and use it. Symbolically, it's the place where you're processing life experience. As the third chakra, this is, first chakra, base root chakra, is about survival level stuff. Sacral chakra is more about pleasure and enjoying yourself above the survival level, like not just having food, shelter, clothing, but enjoying your food, shelter, like decorating your house, having more fun with fashion or whatever, creating here in 3D. Solar plexus chakra is about bringing your will to bear on the world around you, or maybe having your will get its butt kicked, so to speak. So if you've got stuff in your stomach going on, the first question I'll ask is, what's going on in your life that's not going the way you want? And the easiest way to do that is not necessarily to change the situation as much as change who you're being about the situation. Every issue has three ways of being about it. You can resolve the issue. If you can't resolve the issue, you can refine who you're going to be about the issue. And for things that you've worked as hard as you can and can't be resolved, and you've worked so hard you can't refine any further who you're going to be about it, the rest you release. Resolve, refine, release. And release is not a conditional thing. I don't know how well you can see me from where you are, but I've got this piece of paper, okay?
Yeah.
Notice I'm holding it out in front of me. That's release. Just to make sure you saw it, I'll do it again. That's release, okay? Notice I didn't have to check in with my thumb. Can I do this? Is it okay to do this? What are people going to say about it? Didn't work the last time. What if I need to pick it up again? All of these different concerns and conditions have nothing to do with release. And it's not actually release if we don't do it free of the conditions. Resolve, refine, release. Really, really big distinction.
Cool.
So again, to get rid of your stomach stuff, notice what may be going on. Notice what preferences aren't getting met, what expectations may be as yet unfulfilled, and be free to just be. Anyway, like love anyway.
Cool. All right. Well, a few more running a little bit long, but I think this is very productive. Deborah Robinson, first-time listener. Well, thank you, Deborah, for tuning in.
Hey, Deborah, thank you.
Great to have you. Okay, Nancy Louise, one more. Yepper, I'm getting that lesson well. Okay.
Whether we want to or not sometimes, right?
Yeah.
This is the nature of being a healer. And I know, Mark, I know you know this. The journey of growth and expansion and becoming more me, you becoming more you or most you, never ends. That stuff never ends. There's always some new lesson every single day. The big thing I want to make sure everyone knows too is if we are made of God stuff, and we are, we are literally divine spirit beings. If God is in the empty spaces and every atom that makes up our body is mostly empty space, you can look that up. Like it's mostly empty space. We are made of mostly God stuff. So we are literally co-creating with Creator every moment of every day. So anything that may be occurring in our life, if we are co-creating with a God of love, and I believe we are, everything that occurs in the space that our life is, the sacred space that our life is, happens for us, not to us.
Mhm.
So if we're saying, well, why is this happening to me? No, this is happening for you, for your growth and expansion, and coming to be able to love anyway, regardless of circumstances.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's the only reason we're here. That is literally the reason we're on the planet.
Yeah. A lot of people writing in saying, yes, they're on the money. Yeah. Well, thank you very much, Brian, for being with us. I'll put in the comments box after the show his website, his phone number of how to reach out to Brian, because I know a lot of you will want to follow up because this has really great stuff that empowers you to take care of yourself. And I love that.
Yeah, please. And if you want to book a session, there is a segment on the website that's currently a little glitchy. Admittedly, it's imperfect. There's a lot of great information there. But if you're ready to schedule any kind of a session, workshop, whatever, please call or text and we'll get those details worked out. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Mark. Appreciate it.
Yeah. Thank you, Brian, for being with us today.
My pleasure.
So that was Brian Kurtz, Soul Connection, obviously much more. So reach out to Brian. Great stuff. So thank you again for being here today. We go on the air every Tuesday morning at 9 a.m. Central Standard Time. Please remember to comment, share, like today's show. Each week we'll be bringing a leading edge guest that works with the holistic health, well-being of people, animals, and spaces. Tune in next Tuesday when our guest will be John Nelson Alden. He is founder, chef, and chief operating officer of Chestnut and Grace Dog Food Company. You're going to be here. So he's an expert in canine nutrition. He has a fascinating story, how he went from his creative pursuits, including being a chef at some of the finest restaurants in the U.S., to becoming a full-time dog chef. So anyway, so thanks again, everyone, for being on the show. If I can be of help of service, please reach out to me. So again, everyone, have a blessed day. Keep those comments coming in. More are coming in. And thank you, everyone.
Thanks,
We'll
Mark.
See you next week. Thanks,
Take
Brian.
care. Thank you.
Okay. Thank
Bye.
you. Bye-bye.